Okay, good morning, guys. Uh, just let me know if you can listen to me.
Hello, hello. Good
Hello,
morning.
morning.
It's okay for me. I
Okay,
listen.
nice.
Okay.
Let me see here in chat. Okay, thank you. So good morning to all of you guys. Officially, we're gonna be starting our class in this moment. Thank you for being here so early. As I said in the chat, right? I know that you are here very punctual. That's okay. Thank you so much for it. So guys, today we're gonna be working a new topic. This is an interesting topic, and maybe today you will be having a lot of theory. I know sometimes so tedious, right? To read a lot. I know that, but this is didactic, right? To read, to try to discuss, to try to analyze some concepts, try to think right into the, try to think about the classrooms and to take ourselves to those classrooms, right? Um, that one day you're gonna be choosing, and I hope so. So, guys, I already uploaded your scores, right? Your grades. Ain't nobody say anything. I mean, nobody wrote me yesterday to ask something or discuss anything. I hope you're okay with the grades. I try to help you, so remember that the most important part during your process, during your educational process is not your score, right? But what you are learning. That's the most important part. Um, So every teacher must think about how to help students, not to pass, right, but to learn. Because just approving a subject is easy. So you just can um, send your laboratory, your exams, and that's it. But the most important part is to be learning. So the last class we were talking about constructivism, the constructivism theory, and I introduced to you some authors, for example, Jean Piaget, Tchaikovsky, Maria Montessori, John Dewey, um, and Kelly, and others. And I know that you were paying attention. Remember that every person, every other applies something, right, to this process, to the the teaching process in the classroom. Remember that in the classroom you're having sometimes more than 20, 30 students, and they are coming to you with different kind of levels of English. And when we talk about constructivism, we have to think about the knowledge our students are having when they are in the classroom, or when they are actively learning something during a period of time. Some students are coming to the classroom with a high level of English, right? And some of them are coming to the classroom with a basic level. So you as a teacher must think about the methods, methodologies, techniques, and approaches that will be applicable for your students to learn. Some students get information accurately, and I remember when I was in university, I used to have some classmates that were very uh, capable to learn something at once, right? And some others needs to study more. Why? Because we're different. When we talk about constructivism, I told you the last class that we talk about the background knowledge that our students are having before entering into our classroom. If you're teaching in eighth grade, for example, in, in an institution you're working is a bilingual institution, you know the level of your student and the background knowledge that they're having when they are in your classes. If you are teaching English in eighth grade in a bilingual institution, you know that the majority of your student will be understanding to you. Maybe not the majority of your student will be speaking, right? Because some of them will be speaking very well, and some of them are in intermediate level, and the majority of them are still in basic level, and that's okay. But all of them will be understanding what you're trying to say. That's something that happens to me when I am teaching in eighth grade. I know that some students, some girls, especially girls, are understanding everything at all, and they are replying to me, answers, opinions, they are participating, and they are speaking, but some of them, I am having to this year 20 students in eighth grade, and I can say that the majority of my students are talking about 17 students out of 20 are understanding my indications, but only 5 students are speaking in English. Let me see, around 8 older students are in intermediate level. They cannot speak English right very well, but they try. They try to say something, they try to participate, they try to ask, they try to say opinions, ask questions, hit suggestions, and they are trying. And I know that some of them are in basic level, right? And some of them are in pre-basic level because they are new in the classroom. So those students who are in pre-basic level, they are not able to understand me in the classroom. So what I have to do is to look for those techniques, right? And methodologies to help them. Today, I mean, this year, I am having a student in 10th grade. He's new. He doesn't know English. He is in basic level English. And when he entered to the classroom for the very first time, I started speaking with him. He didn't understand anything, right? He wasn't able to reply to me anything. He was not able to say something. And I discovered that this student is having a pre-basic level English, right? So I just spoke with the parents and I said, okay, it's important you can take your son to an academy, an English academy, or to look for some English supported classes because in this grade they are having more advanced academic English, and they need to have an intermediate level at least because the next year they're taking a TOEFL test, right? But I have discovered the last days that this student is trying to do his best. I was checking uh, the homework in the platform, and I was reading him. I was paying attention to him, right? He's trying to deliver everything. He's trying to submit every assignment, and he's having a good grade at the end. So now I say, whoa, maybe my student is following every indication, right? And their parents are trying to do their best, right? So now he's trying to speak. So step by step, at the end, he will be speaking English. And I hope so. So constructivism is this, right? Constructivism is to teach something taking into account the background information your student have before starting a new lesson. This morning I was explaining about minimal pairs to my students in phonetics. And I asked to them, do you know what is a minimal pair? And some of them, right, maybe the majority of them say, no, I have no idea what's a minimal pair. I didn't believe it because this is a common topic, right? This is a common lesson. And I said, well, that's okay. Someone else that knows what's a minimal pair, and just one girl raised her hand and said, well, minimal pair refers to two words having uh, different spelling, different meaning, but similar pronunciation. Oh, that's minimal pair, right? She said it very well. And I said, well, I will be taking into account that you attended English pronunciation before coming to my class, right, in phonetics. So that's constructivism. Constructivism is when you start teaching something and you know that your student in front of you handle that specific topic, right? They have a previous idea about the topic. They have a they have that idea that will be helpful for the teachers. because, for example, I cannot go to attend a mathematics class in this moment, an advanced mathematics class at the university, because I will probably lose, right? At the end of the lesson, I will be like asking to my classmate what happened, what is the teacher trying to say, because I don't have that background information in my mind. I mean, advanced mathematics, right? But maybe if I go to attend mathematics or basic mathematics at the university right now, at my age, right, I will be able to understand some parts of the lesson. Why? Because my brain will be bringing to me, right, some background information from the elementary school. That this is what happened to your relatives maybe, or your friends, or people who are in the United States illegally, or just because they decided one day to move to the United States, and they are living now in the United States, but they don't know the language. One day they start producing the language, and someone asks, "Oh, do you know English?" No, 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 I don't know English. What I reproduce are just words and some phrases that I memorized when I was in the elementary school. So that constructivism, right? And your relatives, your friends, or people in the United States start speaking English at the end, right? Taking into account those background information. From those background information, you start learning something else. So that's constructivism, and I hope you have learned it. But today we're having a different kind of topic right here, and it says classroom management seating. This is very different, and this is something that we have to suffer every single day. So in the classroom, you have to say to your students, okay, guys, I will be dividing the classroom. Well, some teachers say this, right? I don't know if you live this in the school, but this is very common in the school. In the school, you're having some rows. You know what is row, right? You know what the word row is? Yes or no? When I say row, you understand? You understand that word?
Yes.
Very good. I hope that all of you understand the word row, right? So in the classroom, you're having some rows, maybe 4, 5, 6 rows. Excellent. And during a single day, you have to be fighting with your students, especially in school, right? Because in the university, you're not having some rows. You're having, well, today, because of the pandemic, you're having rows. I had noticed. But before the pandemic, we were having U-shape classroom seating, right? Different. But in school, we have to fight with our students to maintain the rows orderly and neat to avoid having some messy roads. And in every class, we are talking to our students, you don't have to move for this row. This is your space. You have to respect your space, your classmate space. Why? Because every teacher knows students. And from the beginning of the year, so start speaking about a new teacher in the classroom. If you are a new teacher in the classroom, you don't know your class, you don't know the parents, you don't know the students. And that's okay. At the very beginning, they are sitting with whatever they want, right? So from that day, you have to show yourself confident, fully confident and comfortable in the classroom. And you have to transmit your student that you are the teacher and you will be the responsible of their process during a single year. So they will be respecting to you and they will be following your indication. But what happened the first year if you are new in the classroom? You have to let your students stay wherever they want. They start picking some chairs and they are just sitting wherever they want. But that day you notice that some students are making some noises. You can notice some groups on the left, some groups on the right, some groups in the back, and you notice that the ones in the front are the only one paying attention to you, right? This is very common. People who are sitting in the back are not never paying attention to you. They are talking. They are they are toasting things to people in front. They are shouting. They are not following indications. And they are not submitting assignments because They are there just because they want to get fun. So what you're gonna be doing is very simple. You have to start firstly knowing every name, right? Because that's important in the school. You have to ask the name to your class, your student. You have a list of names, obviously. Then you know, or you check the talkative ones or the noisy students or the ones who make a lot of noise. You start saying, okay, you're gonna be moving to here, you have to move to here, or some teacher, what they do is very simple, they know the class. If you are not new in the classroom, right, and you know the class, for example, in my case, right now in 8th grade, we know 8th grade, I mentioned 8th grade because 8th grade in the school I work are the most talkative one. And what we do as teachers is to divide the classroom in two. Maybe you suffer, you live this in the elementary school. We say, okay, we're gonna be dividing the class into two. Guys, you're gonna be seated right here in front of the teacher, and ladies, you're gonna be seated right there, uh, the second side of the classroom. And we are doing this because we know that the boys are very talkative. Right now in 8th grade, um, they want to get a girlfriend. They are trying. They are doing many things to call the attention from girls. So the roles in the classroom are important for maintaining the control. And especially because you are under observation every single day, right? In the school. So the roles, you can have roles, colors, shape, U shape, and other forms into the classroom. And you will be learning this today. So this is our topic for today's class, right? Talk about management seating. I hope you like it. As I said before, there are a lot of theory about this, and this class will be appearing for getting your escalafon number one. Believe me, when I was taking my exam for getting my escalafon number one, I remember I have a question about this topic, and I was taking this exam with one of your teacher at the university. He's now working at the university, and I remember that he said, "Hey, did you notice that we were having a question about management seating?" And I say, yes. So this topic is so important. That's why I said this when we start speaking about this topic, right? So it says right here, generally speaking, learning activities fall into three categories: didactic, active, and collaborative. So this is something that I already mentioned because I want you to learn it. I want you to take into account, right? When you are trying to develop an activity, you have to remember that the activity must be academic, talking about didactic, active, right? Active, that means meaningful and collaborative. That the teacher will be helping the student, helping a student will be helping teacher, a student will be helping students, parents will be helping teacher, teacher will be helping parents, parent will be helping students, student parents, and so on, collaborative. So let me see. And it says right here, now we have to start reading, right? But we're gonna be trying to discuss this, and I hope you can help me right to read, you can help me to discuss, and you can provide your own explanations. It says, if we want to manage the classrooms effectively, we have to be able to handle a range of variables. These include how the classroom space is organized, whether the students are working on their own or in groups, and how we organize classroom time. We also need to consider how we appear to the students and how we use our most valuable assets, our voice. Okay, until here, it is said that 40 years ago, if you want to be a teacher, you have to prove a test, a teaching test at the university. Well, this happens around 40 years ago, in which one of the difficulties was your voice. If you were not having a good voice, you were not able to be a teacher. 40 years ago, right? Right now it's very different. Right now, we never consider our voice, and our tone of voice is very important. For example, at the university, if I am having a group of 6 students in just one classroom, my voice must be so clear that the student in front don't feel offensive because of my tone of the voice, and the student in the back can understand what I am trying to say. So this is why in this concept you find the most valuable assets, which is your voice, right? Your voice is your tool, your weapon in the classroom. Because of your tone of your voice, your student will be following your indication or not. It doesn't matter if you are a tall man or a tall woman, or if you are a short man or a short woman. I don't know if you have watched sometime a short teacher, right? Uh, Handling a large class. We used to have a teacher like this at the university. He was a short, but no one in the classroom uh, speaks during his explanation. Why? Because we knew that he was very older, he was very kind, and he was very understandable. So we were always paying attention to him. But have you ever had a teacher who is very tall, for example, but his tone or her tone of voice not so clearly, and he tends to show himself or herself confused and uncomfortable in the classroom? You don't pay attention, right? You don't pay attention. You start speaking with your the person besides you, or doing something else, or you take advantage of time to say, okay, I will be trying to work in other subject because my teacher is not so important. That's because of the tone of his voice or her voice. So that's why we say right here in the class that you have to start educating your tone of voice, right? You have to be able to speak as a teacher. Esto es una de las partes más interesantes de ser maestro, el tono de voz. Miren, si su tono de voz no es muy bueno, no hablo de que vamos a tener un tono de cantante, no. Cuando hablamos de tono de voz, cuando hablamos de nuestra voz, hablamos de que los estudiantes nos puedan escuchar al fondo tan claramente sin ofender a los que están enfrente, ¿verdad? Entonces, ese es el tono de voz. Un maestro debe tener un tono de voz aceptable dentro del salón de clase. Hay maestros que tienen un tono de voz súper bueno, y ellos no se esfuerzan mucho y se les escucha hasta en el siguiente salón, aunque eso también no es correcto. A veces pasa en la escuela de que yo estoy intentando enseñar mi lección y el maestro que está a la par prácticamente está gritando. Entonces eso es ofensivo, ¿verdad? Y como yo le digo a mi compañero de trabajo, mire, baja el tono de voz, que me está distrayendo la otra clase, no se puede, es bien complicado, pero el tono de voz es importante. Por eso les decía, have you ever have a teacher, a teacher who is very short? ¿Alguna vez han tenido un maestro que es bien pequeño, pero con un tono de voz que ustedes le prestan atención porque saben que les puede ir mal? Have you ever experienced this in your life? Yes, right? Y uno se queda, pero si es chiquitín, ¿verdad? Una persona bien pequeña, pero esa persona pequeña, ok, excelente. Sí, una persona pequeña puede ser, pero usted sabe de que maneja el salón de manera increíble. Bueno, una maestra de parvularia a veces hacen burla y dicen, ¿cómo es posible que la mamá del niño de 6 o 5 años de parvularia no pueda detenerlo en casa, y la maestra tiene 30 similares en el salón y solamente cuando ella habla todos están calladitos, sentados y trabajando? El tono de voz tiene que ver mucho. Y claro, ¿verdad? ¿Cómo organizamos? Por eso dice al inicio, how you organize your time. Ese es otro importante. How you organize your classroom time. Remember, during a lesson, you're having time, right? Because, I mean, at the beginning, you're going to be doing something, the middle, you're going to be doing something else, and at the end, you're going to be finishing with an assignment, for example. So your student know your method. For example, in my case, right? En mi caso, mis estudiantes conocen mi método en la escuela. En la escuela es muy diferente acá en la universidad. El método que utilizo es muy distinto porque las edades son muy diferentes. Yo sé que acá en la universidad usted llega, you attend the class and you are very polite, you're seated, you never speak with your classmate. And if you are speaking your classmate, you know how to do it, right? You're not calling attention. You are there because you want to learn, and you are there because you are another person, and you want to be someone else in the future. Quieren convertirse en un profesional. Yo sé, eso se entiende y cada maestro de universidad lo entiende, lo ve y dice, no, en la universidad los estudiantes llegan, están sentados, prestan atención y si hablan, saben cómo hacerlo sin distraer la clase, porque son adultos, porque ya saben lo que quieren o porque ya más o menos tienen idea de lo que quieren llegar a ser, lograr, ¿verdad? En el futuro. Pero un estudiante pequeño, yo tengo que tener muchas estrategias. Hay, por ejemplo, mis estudiantes saben de que si voy a dar una clase de gramática y el bloque va a durar una hora, déjenme ver, una hora con 20 minutos, ellos saben que yo voy a comenzar a introducir el tema, ya saben mi método, ellos siempre ya conocen, hasta el padre de familia conoce mi método, yo trato de hacérselo saber, eso es importante, por eso dice ser organizado. Desde el inicio, from the very beginning, I speak with the parent and I explain how I work during the class, right? This is something that you're going to be doing one day. I said, okay, my methodology or my methodologies are the following ones. I will always working like this. I start explaining the lesson. I introduce the lesson with videos or something else or just speaking. Then I explain the lesson during an hour, right? During that hour, I introduce the lesson. I give some expression examples and I explain the lesson. I bring into the classroom some exercises. En una hora yo tengo que introducir el tema, explicar el tema. Si fuera, digamos, el presente perfecto, un tema cualquiera, o adverbios de frecuencia. Pero mi estudiante sabe de que si vamos a estudiar la página 20, 22, de la 20 a la 22, ellos saben de que yo no dejo tareas. Esa es mi forma de trabajar. Ellos saben de que yo no dejo tareas. ¿Qué es lo que ellos saben? Ellos saben que al final de la clase, en los últimos 20 minutos, si no están prestando atención, ellos van a dejar la materia, porque ellos sienten la presión. No me va a dejar la tarea, me va a quitar el libro al final de la clase, porque en los últimos 20 minutos lo voy a poner a que realice los ejercicios de las páginas que estudiamos el día de hoy. Si estudiamos alrededor de frecuencia y se encontraba de la página 20 a la 22, ellos saben que le voy a explicar eso en la pizarra o utilizando algunas diapositivas y al final de la clase ellos tienen que completar la página 20, 21 y 22 solamente los ejercicios. Y ellos me tienen que entregar el libro y tienen que irse a receso. Cuando ellos regresen ya van a estar revisados con su nota. No llevan tarea para la casa. Mucha gente dice, bueno, es un método muy bueno porque el padre se quita de hacer tareas con el hijo en la casa, pero dicen a la misma vez los papás, hay niños que no tienen el mismo nivel y no le entienden del todo. Y yo les digo, bueno, sí, es verdad, pero a medida vayan sintiendo la presión, ellos van a llegar a la casa y van a repasar el tema y repasar el tema. Y van a tratar de ir ambientándose a los demás estudiantes. Muchos maestros en el colegio donde yo trabajo, por ejemplo, hacemos esto y en otros lugares. We try not to assign some homework to do at home, right? Why not? Because at home sometimes they are not doing the homework. They are coming to the classroom telling to us, "Oh, so sorry, I forgot to do my homework. May I have another opportunity?" No, right? Or because at home the parents are doing the homework by the students. This is something that happens as well. Or because the parents are having a lot of money and they hire some teachers to come to the house to do the homework, and that's it. That's why we try to do the homework in the school. Then you have here, the physical presence can play a large part in our management of the classroom environment. So the teacher, right? The teacher in the classroom, guys, it's not okay Yo sé que en las películas se ve bonito. I know that in the movie sounds seems so good, right? To see the teacher seated on the desk. ¿Te has fijado? En las películas se ve bonito que el maestro llega bien intelectual y se sienta en el escritorio. But that's not so good, right? I think that's not okay. That doesn't mean being organized. You cannot stay in the classroom sitting on your desk, right? Or only in the chair. I don't know if you ever had some teacher that are always seated. They are not moving in the classroom. They are not monitoring. They are just sitting in the classroom. They are just there, maybe sitting on the desk or on a chair. And they start speaking. That's not good, right? Because your physical presence uh, can play a vital role, or it can play a vital important and accurate aspect in the life of your students. If you are moving the classroom, they know that you are going to be paying attention to what they are doing. Some of your students will be maybe drawing at the back of the notebooks, or some of them will be just not paying attention to you. That's why the physical presence is important in the classroom. That's why sometimes the parents said that virtual classes are not so good as face-to-face classes, right? So then you have all teachers, like all people, have their own physical characteristics and habits, and they will take this into the classroom with them. Okay, this is so important. You have your own habits, and sometimes you take your own habits to the classroom. Esto, miren, pasa. Ustedes tienen sus propios hábitos, sus propias normas de convivir en casa, y a veces esto uno lo lleva a casa. Hay maestros, bueno, hay a cada quien, que en el salón de clase están maldiciendo, ¿verdad? Están diciendo malas palabras, e incluso en la universidad. No sé, esto yo no lo veo correcto, pero esto queda a demostrar, esto da a demostrar sus hábitos, esto va a demostrar cómo ellos se comportan en casa. A veces decimos, si ese estudiante se porta mal es porque en casa pasa algo o en casa se lo permiten. Lo mismo pasa con el profesor. Si su profesor es una persona que ofende o que habla con doble sentido, por ejemplo, o que dice malas palabras, es porque en su ambiente, sus hábitos, ¿verdad? Son así. Es por eso que se comporta de esa manera. No hay mucho más que decir. So I know that you have experienced this, right? I hate when some teachers are so mean to talk with some students, right? Especially with girls. I don't know what they are doing some bad comments into the classroom, and I said, well, like it's like they are not teachers, right? It's like teacher they are just having the job because they don't have any other option. But this is not okay. I hope you're understanding. Your physical presence or appearance is important. That's why we are dressing formal to teach a class. That's why we are taking a shower right in the morning, because your students are paying attention to you. You are the model right there. Aunque no seamos muy bonitos, somos el modelo en el salón de clase. Y nuestros estudiantes se fijan. Ellos se ven, miren, los niños se fijan. Yo he visto cuando una vez estaba un maestro y me dio risa, ¿verdad? Yo soy así, yo bien así, mira, todo me da risa, pero no es que me ría de la gente, sino que me dio risa, fue hace varios años. Una alumna le dijo, mire, le dijo, ese pantalón fue el que trajo ayer, ¿verdad? So our students are paying attention to us. Proximity, este es un tema muy interesante también, cómo acercarse, ¿verdad? Teachers need to consider how close they should be to the students they are working with. Some students are uncomfortable if their teacher stands or sits close to them. For some, on the other hand, distance is a sign of coldness. Teachers should be conscious of how close they are to their students, should take this into account when assessing their student reactions, and should, if necessary, modify their behavior. Okay, how do you feel when your teacher is so close to you? How do you feel with your teacher? You are a student, right, the university, trying to work, and your teacher is exactly, and your teacher try to sit beside you with no reason. You are not a friend, right? And you start thinking about this situation. So this is proximity. Imagínense si en la universidad no nos sentimos a veces muy a gustos que el maestro se siente a la par de nosotros o se acerque demasiado, ¿verdad? ¿Cómo se sentirá un joven o una niña en primer año? So they are not feeling so good, right? In the classroom when you as a teacher are not respecting this distance. Nervous, exactly, nervous. Very good. Ahora, dice, si nos acercamos demasiado al estudiante, esos estudiantes se pueden sentir incómodos. Es normal. Pero también dice que si nos alejamos mucho, if you are having a large distance like this, it's a sign of coldness. Si nos distanciamos demasiado, también es un signo de frialdad. Pero cuando hablamos de esto, when we're talking about this, we're not talking about you are not so tender or you are not so, exactly, you need a middle point. Excellent. We're talking about more than this, right? More than touching your students or talking with them or chatting with them. No, no es eso. Cuando hablamos de coldness, no hablamos de que, ay, hace falta que abraces a tus estudiantes, porque en mi caso, por ejemplo, yo no abrazo estudiantes, ¿verdad? Por cuestiones de que hoy en día hay un montón de cosas y, y todo a veces se toma mal. Entonces, no es correcto. Sin embargo, cuando hablamos de distancia, estamos haciendo referencia a que en el salón de clase yo puedo no prestar atención a que mi estudiante no aprende. Eso es una distancia, eso es una distancia. That's a synonym of distance, right? That when you're not paying attention to what is happening to your students. Maybe your students are suffering something or bullying, and you're not doing anything, right, in the classroom. Eso es posiblemente lo que puede ocurrir. Cuando hablamos de distancia, no es que yo me voy a convertir en el papá y la mamá, ya se lo dije al inicio. El maestro no es el papá, el maestro no es la mamá, el maestro no es el psicólogo. Que sí nos toca de vez en cuando a tener funciones de ello, pero que no es correcto, pero que nos toca, ¿verdad? Claramente, hace unos años se me acercó una niña y me dice llorando que se sentía mal y que iba mal conmigo porque sus papás se estaban divorciando. Bueno, tampoco yo le iba a decir, mire niña, a hablar con su mamá, ¿verdad? No podía hacer eso, tenía que encontrar las palabras adecuadas para hablar con una niña de 12 años, 11 años. A eso se refiere el concepto. Sin embargo, remember that it's not okay to be so close to your student because they will be feeling uncomfortable or nervous. Did you got it? I hope so. Okay, continue. Okay, now after, who wanna help me to read this? A volunteer? Okay, let me see. Okay, you wanna help me, Carla?
Yes, Mr. I would like to try.
Okay, wait a minute. You may start now. The whole, right? Everything. 1, 2, 3.
Is appropriation the word?
Yes.
Yes. How close to the La estudiante la
Can you hear me well?
Well, just kind of right, but I was trying to
Sorry,
understand.
no,
Okay, don't
no me
worry.
escucharon
Poco, poco.
poco. ¿Le puedo volver a leer?
No, si gusta, sí. No, el inicio sí, el inicio sí.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you so much. So it says like
Okay,
important
okay,
points. Number one,
okay.
extremely friendly atmosphere. That's an error, right? To create
Yeah.
an extremely friendly atmosphere. So the quote says friendly but firm, right? Every teacher must be friendly but firm at the same time. So you as a teacher must be so friendly, but at the same time so firm that your student understand that you are the teacher, not his or her friend. Got it? Vaya, vamos a explicar este tema sin sonar ofensivo. Miren, la pregunta es, can be a teacher, can a teacher be the friend of students? La respuesta sería no, ¿verdad? Esa es la respuesta didácticamente hablando correcta. El maestro no puede ser el amigo de los estudiantes. Ahora, no es que quiera sonar ofensivo, ¿verdad? Quiero que ustedes vayan a decir, ay, el maestro, el teacher, cómo se la pica, porque para nada, no es el punto, sino que estamos hablando de algo académico y según la teoría, el maestro no puede. Eso es por ley, el maestro no puede. Hay ejemplos clarísimos por el que el maestro no puede y podríamos mencionar, we can mention, por ejemplo, if you are uh, making a student to believe that you are the friend, right? You are a friend, an extra friend in the classroom. Your student will be not expecting to you, and if they are like trespassing that line, the problem will be yours, not from your student, but yours. El problema va a ser de ustedes. Esto lo sufrí yo en el 2013. En el 2013 yo comencé a ser maestro, ¿verdad? Y de un colegio. Yo recuerdo de que las primeras palabras que usé, que yo me equivoqué, y yo de verdad, hoy que veo hacia atrás, digo, ay, digo, ¿por qué decía esas cosas? Fueron las siguientes. Muy buenos días, el primer día, ¿verdad? De clase con todos los profesores nuevos. Nos pasa, la verdad, y eso es parte de la experiencia, eso es lo que nos convierte a veces en mejores personas cada día, o mejor profesional cada día. Pero uno de mis errores fue llegar al salón, a un salón que no conocía, como lo hablábamos al inicio, ¿verdad? Cuando llegamos al salón por primera vez, lo primero que tenemos que demostrar es confianza, dominio del contenido y que nos sentimos cómodos trabajando ahí. Pero si el estudiante descubre que no tenemos confianza, ese estudiante no nos va a respetar. Y mi error fue decir lo siguiente: buenos días, todo, ¿verdad? Mi nombre es tal y voy a ser su maestro, lo normal, pero el punto de partida para que se me desordenara todo fue que yo dije, no vengo acá solamente para ser su maestro, sino para convertirme en un amigo más de ustedes. Quiero que me vean como un amigo más de ustedes, para que nos llevemos muy bien, de una persona que viene a aprender de ustedes también. Eso fue un punto de partida para que los estudiantes comenzaran a entender de que no me tenían que respetar tanto. Entonces, con el tiempo fui notando que ellos respetaban mucho a otros profesores y los admiraban, pero a mí me hacían desorden. Yo empezaba a ver, ¿verdad?, cómo ellos se expresaban de otros maestros y los querían. No es que los odiaban, los querían. Pero cuando iban a mi clase era como que, hacer desorden. Y yo decía, pero si mi clase es importante, si yo les vengo a enseñar gramática comparada, les vengo a enseñar literatura, les vengo a enseñar historia, pero no me prestan atención, me hacen relajo, están parándose. Entonces un maestro se me acercó y me dijo algo que me ha servido desde el 2013, pues lo siguiente: el maestro no puede ser el amigo del estudiante, porque entonces el estudiante empieza a confundir y a traspasar esa línea. Esto hay que tenerlo en cuenta cuando creamos una atmósfera, ¿verdad? When we create an extremely friendly atmosphere, your students start transpassing that line, and they are not going to be paying attention to you. They are not going to be respecting to you. They will be believing that you are just another person, another friend in the classroom. And you are not just another person, you are the teacher. Bueno, fíjense que es interesante, pero ese año, bueno, para comenzar, estaban muy molestos conmigo las autoridades porque decían que yo era muy flexible, era muy dejado, era una persona que les permitía todo y fue un solo relajo. Entonces yo recuerdo que una maestra de la Nacional, que trabajaba ahí mismo, donde yo estaba trabajando, me dijo, míreme, si usted quiere conservar su empleo, ya es momento que se comience a parar como una persona adulta y le haga ver a estos hipótesis de que usted es el maestro. Primera cosa, primera acción, ¿verdad? Dejar de reírme de los chistes que ellos hacían. Ellos comenzaron a ver eso y comenzaron a decirme que era un amargado, ¿verdad? Porque ellos creían que yo ya era el amigo de ellos. Entonces, y aunque me daba risa muchas cosas, empecé a dejar de reírme, no celebrarles nada. Luego tener una actitud, no una actitud fría, una actitud retante para nada, sino una actitud que les demostraba a ellos que a mí solo me interesaba la clase y punto. Que no quería saber nada de que si ellos habían ido a comer a Wendy's la noche anterior o se habían ido al cine. Entonces comenzaron a notar ellos de que yo ya no quería tener bromas con ellos. Esa fue la primera cosa que yo hice, dejar de reírme de sus acciones. Y empezaron a ver eso. Luego, comenzar a evaluarlo y respetando mi rúbrica, ¿verdad? Dejar de ser demasiado generoso a la hora de evaluarlos y evaluarlos como debería de ser. Comenzaron a enojarse, incluso los papás. Pero comencé yo, ¿verdad?, a demostrar, no, es que está malo por esto, por esto, por esto, por esto. Es que no prestan atención. Entonces, y otra cosa muy importante fue dejar de hablar español. When I stopped, right, speaking Spanish, they start understanding that there was not like a friend anymore. Now they start respecting to me, right? And at the end, I remember that I talked to them. Eso fue lo último que hice, hablar con ellos. Fui sincero con ellos y hablé muy seriamente y les dije, miren, yo sé que ustedes son niños de 13 años, tenía como 22, yo soy una persona de 22 años. Comprendo que no soy el maestro de 50, de 40 años que ustedes tuvieron el año pasado, pero yeah, I started speaking, right? And I started explaining. I said, I want you to start changing with me. I don't want you to feel that I am a type person or a rude person, but I want you to start changing with me. If you don't want to bring me any present to me, right, because of the teacher day or because of my birthday, that's okay. Don't do it. That's okay. But please start obeying to me, start respecting to me, start respecting the class. You have to be quiet during the class. If you don't want to get my hand right at the end of the period, just please stay quiet. So in this moment, everything changes, and I remember that my class starts um, becoming into something different. So that's why I saved my position, right, my place of job, and then I started learning more, right, how to handle the classroom. That serves a lot to me nowadays. So I am working with teenagers, with every person I mean, from kindergarten to high school, and talking with parents for any cycle, right? And until this moment, they consider to me just a teacher. They see me when they are in the school, right? And they see a teacher. They never see a friend, right? They sometimes try to say something ridiculous, right? Or funny. And sometimes I laugh, but at the same time I say, so be quiet. Thank you for your comment or for your opinion. We have to return back to the class. So be quiet. And they understand, right? Right now, they respect me more than 9 years ago. So because I have been learning, right, how to do it during these last years. So continue. It says movement. So how you move, right, in the classroom, it's important too. It says some teachers tend to spend most of their class time in one place, at the front of the class, for example, or to the side, or in the middle. So in El Salvador, this is something that we never pay attention to, right? If you are working in a public school, the teachers teach in the way they want to teach, and that's it. They are teaching English how some of them, right? Not I don't talking about the whole of the teacher. I just say some of them because some of them are very good, and I know that, and I consider them very intelligent and very experienced teachers. But some of them are just moving mm, in the same place, right? Maybe in the front, maybe sometimes in one side of the classroom, but they are not never um, they are not never monitoring. And what happens when you are not monitoring the class? Your student get bored of the lesson, get bored of the topic, get bored of you, right? This is something that it's very hard when your students are very bored from you. Last day I told you that a child is very honest to tell you that your class is very boring. So this is something that very common, right? So continue now. This one, awareness. It says in order to manage a class successfully, the teacher has to be aware of what students are doing, where possible, how they are feeling. Uh, well, this is not so easy sometimes to achieve, but it is possible. To understand how your students are feeling in the classroom is hard. Why? Because you as a teacher want to get those complaints, right? Uh, you say, I don't want to go beyond. I'm tired and I am here just to teach. And I said this because this is something that I have experienced. Sometimes I don't want to go beyond my case, right? I'm so tired. I don't want to go beyond. I don't want to do anything else for my students. But I know that I'm having that student in the classroom who is showing to me issues, right, to learn. And I said, oh, but I don't want to get complications. I don't want to talk to the parents. I don't want to keep extra opportunities or extra activities for helping him or her to reach the level. But we have to, right, remember that you're a student are the result of your teaching or how you teach, right? And they deserve it. Okay, we talk about this one, right? Audibility says right here, teachers need to be audible. They must be sure that the student are at the back. Okay, I already mentioned this, right? Very good. So every conversation, this is about the talking, tone of your voice. Let me see now using the L1. Okay, no, it's not this one. This one, this is the one that I want to mention right now. In here, you have a picture about different seating arrangements. And I know that you had seen this, right? First of all, you have to watch the box. It says right here, the board and the teacher, the signs, right? The symbols they are using. Here you have some table. It says separate tables, especially in kindergarten, right? You can find these positions used by teachers in kindergarten. Uh, I guess they consider it's better. And remember that in kindergarten, they eat in the classroom, right? They eat sometimes um, the snacks in the classroom, and this is a better position to eat. And because they are working collaborative, They are using pencil, colorfuls, crayons, paper roots, cutters, and a lot of things, right, into the classroom. And this position is very um, used by kindergarten teachers. And also in science labs, right? I have seen this in science labs too, or laboratory, right? In the laboratory. But at the university, you're not having table like this, right, to learn. What about the solo work? Well, the solo work, as you can see, the solo work are just roads, some roads, right, in which you can move, right? You can move through these roads because uh, it's like no, it's this position is not so organized because you don't have any right here to move around the classroom. You get some space right into the classroom, and this is the solo work arrangement is something that I have chosen. Para ser sinceros, el solo work sí se utiliza. Ahí se ve una estructura en línea, ¿verdad? Que se ven ordenadas, pero es como, bueno, acá se sienta donde usted quiere sentarse, pero deja espacio para que el maestro pueda moverse. Es usada y es aceptada. Luego tiene the circle. Well, I guess the circle one is applicable just because it's on activities, right? Especially when you want to, for example, write a letter together. You can move, you can pass, right, things, but the only one problem in this one is that you have to sit, you have to be seated in this position, because if you are in the middle, you are not going to be able to watch what your students are doing in your back, for example. Now the horseshoe position is the one that you use at university, right? This is the common position that you will be finding at the university. Right now, because in the pandemic, you are not using it, but this is the most common positions finding in the university. The horseshoe position. And the classic one, right? The orderly rows. The orderly rows, esas las líneas ordenadas, el maestro clásico, ¿verdad? Una forma clásica de enseñanza. Está bien, eso es lo más común que podemos encontrar en un salón de clase. Okay, here you have some explanation. It says orderly rows. Having the students sit in rows can appear somewhat restrictive, but there are advantages to this arrangement. The teacher has a clear view of all the students, and the student can all see the teacher. As you can see here in the picture, right? You can distinguish what they are doing in the back or in the front, and they can see you in every position you are in the classroom. Orderly rows imply teachers working with the whole class. Some activities are especially suited to this kind of organization, such as planning a grammar point, watching a video, or a PowerPoint presentation. Using the board or showing student work on an overhead transparency. In many classrooms around the world, teachers are faced with classes of anywhere between 40 and 200 students at a time. In such circumstances, orderly rows may well be the best or only solution. Then you have this one, right? Circle or horseshoes. In smaller classes, many teachers and students prefer circles or horseshoes. In a horseshoe, the teacher will probably be at the open end of the arrangements, since that may well be where the board, overhead, projector, or a computer are suited. In a circle, the teacher's position where the board is suited is less dominating. So you have some advantages and some disadvantages with the circle and horseshoe positions. Some advantages are that you are having a small group, right, students in the classroom, and you can do this, right? You can follow these positions to explain then a topic. One problem I think is the board. If you are using the circle position, you are gonna be having some difficulty to use the board. The horseshoe, I guess, is better because you are having the whiteboard free and you can use it whatever you want, and you will be feeling very comfortable using it. The only things that in both positions you are gonna be having small groups. What about in the university? Well, at the university we're having a large group, but we use the horseshoe positions just with the ones who are coming first to the classroom, right? Then you're having separate tables. It says in here, even circles or horseshoes seems rather formal compared to classes where students are seated in small groups at individual tables. In such classrooms, you might see the teacher walking around checking the students' work and helping out if they are having difficulties promoting the students at this table, or explaining something to the students at that table in the corner. So table positions are very useful because you can move around the classroom and you can see what your students are doing, right? If they are doing correctly or not. And you can start helping them to improve. And you can promote your students. But I think that this one is just applicable if you are having all the materials or the equipment in your classroom, for example, tables. But in the classroom here in El Salvador, you are not having tables in the school, right? In the classrooms or at the university. That's why I said that this maybe is applicable just for academies or kindergarten. Different student groupings, school class, well, whatever the sitting arrangement in a classroom, the student can be organized in different ways. They can work as a whole group, as a whole class, in groups, in pairs, or individually. It's gonna be depending about how you organize the classroom or the activity you're having for that day as well, right? Full class, there are many occasions when the best type of classroom organization is a teacher working with the class as a full group. Well, I like this one, right? When you're working, for example, um, in an advanced topic, so the teacher can start working with the students. Or when you assign to students to, let me see, to work in a play and they have to prepare a play. When I say play, I'm not talking about a game, right? I'm talking about uh, a literature thing. I mean, a literacy aspect. So they prepare a drama or a play and they start showing to the teacher in front of the class when they are working together. That's good, I think, because you can develop your student more than the English language, but values, um, general attitudes for every person needs to have, right? They start working in groups, they can work together, they start, yeah, supporting your attitude, students, and many things. And work groups and pair groups, work groups and pair have been popular in language teaching for many years and had many advantages. They both foster cooperative activity in that students involved work together to complete a task. They may be discussing a topic, doing a role play, or working at a computer in order to find information. So working in groups is so nice, but when you as a teacher makes a group, right? Because you get that opportunity to your students to know people, right? To know attitude, to handle with attitude, because one day they are gonna be working in a company or as a teacher or maybe as an engineer or as a doctor, and they are gonna be working or must work with people um, that they never choose to work, right? Or they never think to work. So this is the last one, solo work in class to class, right? The solo working is this can have many advantages. It allows students to work at their own speed. Well, solo work means that you can say to the students, okay guys, today you're gonna be working individually in one activity, and at the end you have to deliver to me your homework or submitting your homework and the platform, whatever. So they start working at their own speed, and they start working using their own or their own knowledge, right? It's okay because you can concentrate in yourself and you can distinguish your weaknesses and your strength. Then you have the class to class. This one, it says interactions are good for, I mean, one last grouping should be mentioned, and that is when we are able to join two classes, know that they can interact with each other. Class to class is when you say, okay, guys, you are from didactics, and we're gonna be having an activity with phonetic students, and you start interacting, right? Didactic student and phonetic student working together in one topic, for example. So guys, let me see. This is just the end, right? This lesson.